Zack Moss was awesome yesterday for the Indianapolis Colts. 30 carries, 122 yards, a touchdown catch. They don't win that game without Zack Moss. How's he get ready to play again after that kind of workload, which is unprecedented in his professional career? He had had one game in his pro life where he had carried the ball 20 times or more. Yesterday, that 30-carry day, you got to get in the ice tub, right? And what's the key? He was asked about that. He was also asked about protection schemes against the Ravens, who blitzed a whole lot yesterday. Zack Moss, very, very thoughtful guy, good guy to listen to.
I think the biggest thing is the prevention stuff, right? So to go into a game, feeling as good as I can throughout that, prepping myself for that week. I do a lot of stuff, man. I'm always in the training room, just with everybody in there, just getting my body ready to go. And then doing, separate things as well off the field, just getting to where I feel just real good. And then, like after a game like yesterday, coming here early in the morning and just getting the body work, just flushing all those knickknacks out, those fluids and all that type of stuff. And, just getting in the pools and just relaxing and just, just trying to feel as good as I can.
One quick follow-up. Are you like a yoga guy? Because I talked to Quiddy about his recovery process one time, and he's like, I do yoga, I do acupuncture. Like, what things have you done? And do you kind of know, like, your body better being like 4 years in now, like what I got to do to make sure I feel like 100%?
Yeah, I mean, take out the 4 years of just being in the league. I think even in college, going back to being a 3-year starter, I had to learn then from my sophomore year to now. And obviously I know my body a lot, and I think I learn my body every year. I find a new trick or new something. If that's even in the weight room, something like that, it makes me feel better or more explosive or whatever that is. But I think for me, I used to do Pilates. I don't do really yoga. I kind of keep things real basic to some degree. And just trust the people we have in our facility to, help me get back to where I feel like I can go out there and help the team.
JJ?
Zack, you guys, bought into Shane and kind of the pillars that he has. But when you have a win like yesterday that takes, a couple of those pillars like resiliency and relentlessness, like, so what does that do to reinforce that culture that Shane's trying to establish?
It does a lot. Like, that is the ideal type of win. When he first came in, that he was stamping, right, with, just all the pillars of what our team is going to look like, not what we want to look like, but what we're going to look like. And guys did a great job. Everybody did a great job of buying in. He's a no nonsense kind of coach, right? The standard is the standard. The standard is very high. And I think the type of guys we have on this team, everyone responds well to that. We all love that, especially about him. And, that just from it to be at the top and it trickled down to everyone, staff as well. You couldn't ask for something even better. I mean, especially when having a younger team.
Kind of off topic, but Utah Utes scored all 22 points in the game on Sunday. Pretty good program. Kind of showed out. Like, what kind of connection do you still hold? And you, Julian, and Matt kind of being holding that banner for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, one, I live out in Utah still. In the off season and everything like that. But, obviously I played with Julian, like you said, and played with Matt, seen Matt do the same thing over and over and over for 2 years that we shared time there at Utah. So it wasn't a surprise him going out there and then, doing what he usually does. But, we come from a good school, Coach Witt and the program they run there, kind of preps you for these type of moments. And it's just a really good overall program, and that's why they still winning today.
Chap?
Zack, coming from a winning program in college and being successful here, when coach is trying to put his fingerprints on this team, do you still have to learn how to win? I mean, last year you could argue totally different situations. That you guys didn't find ways to win close games, but here you have. Do you have to learn how to win, how to make plays when it matters?
I think you do. I think the way we prepare, in the week of practice does a lot of that for us. You know, if you prep good, you know, you go into a game having a lot of confidence. So when those moments come up in games where you know you got to have it, right? We call it got to have situations. When we have those moments in the game where we know we got to have it, you know, we put ourselves in those situations in practice, in meetings, and walkthroughs, and all that type of stuff prepares you to go out there and be able to do what we do on Sundays. And you know, guys stepped up, and you know, that's all it really was about.
So the pillars talk is really important, but you need the positive reinforcement to show that there's substance behind the words.
Yeah, and I think what we do and what we put on tape, right? The effort, the relentlessness, in the plays, right? I look back at the game on Sunday, when Gardner got sacked and it was a loose ball, right? I think it was right before halftime. But the way Quentin went and dived at the ball to not make it an easy recovery for those guys, and then Gardner on top of that, which allowed Pitt to get the ball and allowed us to get the punt instead of them getting the ball in the plus side of the field right before half, which could have, you know, easily swung the game in their favor. So things like that show up. And we've only been together with Coach Shane for a few months, technically, right? For things like that to show up early in the year, you know, that just, it says a lot.
Thank you.
Steven?
Hey, Zach, you know, you got traded here last year, and I'm sure it probably doesn't feel good to be traded, right? When you're somewhere that you know you kind of want to be, and then you don't know what your role is going to be when you get here. I guess what I'm saying is, like, it has it all kind of just worked out. I mean, you've got some opportunities and you've made a lot of them. I mean, how do you look at it?
I mean, change is good, right? Being traded, I didn't feel a certain way. I was more, and I probably said this before, I think I was more happy to be traded than to be in a situation where, you know, my skill set wasn't going to allow me to do what I wanted to do. And, you know, and I definitely said this, but when I knew where I was going, when I knew where I was coming to, you know, all the other stuff, coaching, all that type of stuff, I didn't know anything about that, but I knew that, you know, the Colts ran the ball, and that was going to be a real good opportunity for me to come in and, you know, just be able to run the ball. I didn't know if I was going to be getting 5, 10, 15, 30 carries. It really didn't matter. Just wanted to be somewhere where, you know, was appreciated for my skill set. And that just wasn't the plan. And, you know, all those type of things in Buffalo didn't work out that way, but change is good. Everything works. God works everything in our favor.
Does it kind of help, like, because I know you're going to get a lot of questions, you know, is JT going to take your carries and all that? But I think fundamentally, you just hit on it. Like, fundamentally, Shane is, and the organization prioritize running the ball. Does that just kind of, is that something to just kind of keep at the forefront of your mind, that those opportunities will be there one way or the other?
Yeah, I'm sure they will, right? At the end of the day, my job is to be ready when my number is called. So it doesn't matter how many times my number is called, is what I'm going to do with those opportunities. And at the end of the day, you know, JT is a hell of a player. Everyone knows that, right? So it's not going to be any type of, you know, negativity, obviously, when he comes back. It wasn't like that anyways last year. He's a great guy. I'm happy to go get back out there with him in this style offense. One, it keeps him healthy, keeps myself healthy throughout a year like this. And as long as those things are, you know, resolving in wins, I don't really think no one cares what the stats look like, what the carries look like, but as long as we're coming out with a W.
Thanks.
Couple more. Akeem?
Zach, Kyle Hamilton had 3 sacks in the first half against you guys. Just how did the pass protection change to keep him off the quarterback in the second half?
2 of them I want to say were definitely, we were in a 5-man protection, and they were bringing 0 blitz, so it was 5 versus 7, right? None of the backs were in protection. It was a free release. So 2 of those, right, we had chances to get to a different call, and we didn't, just because we felt we could beat it with a passer or whatever. So 2 of those definitely were just, they had us outnumbered 5-7. And then one when I was in, it was another 7-man pressure, right? And he comes off the edge on the right side, but I have technically to block the mic to him, right? But the mic triggers. So it's just a thing where if they bring a zero blitz and you're in a 6-man pro, you're obviously going to be one short. But, in that game, we decided to start going with some more full slide, 7-man pros, bringing the tight end in and just kind of matching it up and letting our receivers, get open and giving Gardner a little bit more time to, see down the field.
Last one, Raven.
Can you just kind of talk us through that receiving touchdown? I mean, you've gotten so many carries, on the ground and then that reception. I mean, I'm sure it was tough with Patrick Queen literally in your face. So just can you talk us through that play and your mindset throughout?
Yeah, when we called it, I could see it was, as soon as we got to the line of scrimmage, you could see there was another zero blitz. I think they blitzed probably 80% of the game. But you can see it was another zero blitz coming in. I'd felt that I'm pretty much the hot receiver, the way the play is built in. I'm pretty much the hot receiver to get the ball technically first. And I just kind of felt Gardner was going to probably give me a chance. I didn't know if it was going to be quick or late like it was. But I knew I had to be ready and try to win my one-on-one. And once Queen peeled on me, I just kept my eyes down the field and try to save enough space for Gardner to have it throw a great ball like he did. And, that play was just kind of like execution from on his part to my part. And then, like we said, just being guys are stepping up in moments and, trying to help the team.
That's Zack Moss. Interesting to hear about the protection schemes and how the Ravens kept going zero blitz and kept freeing guys up, because when you try to block 7 with 5, it just doesn't work. That kind of math I can wrap my arms around, and Zack Moss can too. Great to hear from Zack Moss.